Welcome student, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are going to start a new kingdom which is Protista. Hope you have seen previous videos. In that videos we have discussed about the kingdom Monera, and now this particular video will consist all the things related with Protista. If we talk about this kingdom Protista, student, as you can say, this is your second kingdom, and this was proposed by Haeckel. When Haeckel has proposed this kingdom, he has an idea in his mind, because before this kingdom Protista we are following three kingdom classification, and in case of three kingdom classification we have classified till now the animal kingdom, that means those organisms which are showing some kind of locomotion and they are heterotroph in nature. The plantae kingdom, which are basically photosynthetic and they are performing photosynthesis by trapping sunlight, and they are stationary. And Monera, those who are consist of single cell and prokaryotic cell. But one interesting thing is, student, before the discovery of Monera, Protista has been discovered. So that means if we are talking about historically, this Protista kingdom is the third kingdom was introduced by Haeckel, and the idea behind this, Haeckel has proposed this, that if we are looking in plantae kingdom, that kingdom is consist of both the type of organisms, those who are unicellular and as well as multicellular, and both are performing photosynthesis. So he has suggested that we have to distinguish, or we have to divide plantae kingdom into Protista and plantae. The plantae kingdom along with the multicellular organism, and the Protista along with the unicellular organism. So in this way only Haeckel has proposed this third kingdom. So ultimately this is the third kingdom which we are studying, but logically, because we are going in that chapter wise, then this is your second kingdom. So if we talk about the general characteristics of this particular kingdom, you can see they are unicellular, that means all the living organisms are made up of single cell, and they are eukaryotes, that means they are carrying a true type of nucleus along with the nuclear membrane. Then they are primarily aquatic. You have to remember this thing, that their habitat will be aquatic. They are mostly found in near about the water bodies, and this could be any type of water. There could be fresh water also, and there could be marine water also. Now if we talk about the classification of Protista, so this Protista is classified into three categories. The first one is photosynthetic, the another one is protozoan, and the third is saprophytes. If we talk about the first one category, which is photosynthetic or autotroph, so these are organisms, as the name is indicating you, they are those organisms who are performing photosynthesis. They can trap sunlight, and 80% of their nourishment they are getting from that photosynthesis. So that included three groups. The first one is your chrysophytes. Chrysophytes are also considered to be the golden algae. The golden algae, in which we are going to study about, as an example, we are going to study about the diatoms. And why we are considering golden algae here? Because if we talk about the algae word, algae are those animals which are basically performing photosynthesis. So these are also going to perform the photosynthesis. Now we talk about the another, which is your pyrophytes. Pyrophytes are also known as fire algae, and in this we are going to study about the dinoflagellate. As the name is indicating, these are such animals which are having two flagella. One will be in transfer position and one will be longitudinally, that we can discuss later on. Now the third is your euglenoids. Euglenoids including euglena, and about the euglena, if we are discussing, euglenas are those member which are actually also known as connecting link, and evolutionary also they are very important. Why? Because they are somewhere having a connecting link between plantae and the animal kingdom. Why? Because plants are able to perform the photosynthesis and animals are not able to do that activity. So Euglena is such animal which is having a chlorophyll like pigment, and because of that pigment only it is capable of doing both the activity, that means it can perform in presence of sunlight photosynthesis also, and if it is sunlight is not present then it can be heterotroph also, that means dependent on others. So in that way Euglena is very important evolution wise be, and in this chapter also. If we talk about the second group, that is protozoan, these are the true protistans actually, because they are heterotroph in nature and they are considered to be the very first animal found on the earth. That is also true. And if we talk about the classification, they have been classified into 4 classes. The first one is your Sarcodina. Sarcodinas are those animals which are having amoeboid protozoans, that means the protozoans which are not having a specific cell shape, and amoeba is considered to be one of that. And one more example is of ant amoeba. Basically these animals are doing locomotion with the help of pseudopodia. Pseudopodia is a false foot, and in which due to cytoplasmic movement their body is going to be moved from one place to another. If we talk about the ciliata, this ciliata class includes a very small hair-like projections all over their body, and this includes the paramecium, as you can see the diagram of paramecium. So these parameciums are actually having cilia which will help in locomotion as well as to capturing the food also. If we talk about the zooflagellates having flagella as a locomotory organ and for trapping the food, and example Trypanosoma. And if we talk about the sporozoans, they are in the form of spores, they are basically non-motile, and in this we are going to study about or discuss about the plasmodium. I think about the plasmodium everyone is knowing. These plasmodiums are actually pathogen which are spreading, yes, very true, which is malaria. Okay, now coming on the third category, this is saprophytes. If we talk about the saprophytes includes only one member, which is slime molds, that depends on dead and decaying organic matter, but they are a bit of different from the fungus slime molds, because in that case also you are going to study about the molds, but they are slime. They are having a protective layer around their cell structure or around their colony, so they are mucilaginous in nature, and that is why they are considered as a slime molds. So student, till now you have understood this thing, this protistans has been classified in 3 categories. The photosynthetic, that means who are trapping the sunlight, the protozoans which are heterotroph, and the third is saprophytes. So we can say this thing ki Protista kingdom is able to do all the 3 modes of nourishment: autotrophic, heterotrophic, and even saprophytes or saprophytic. Now in next topic we are going to discuss about one by one of all the topics. Okay, in this part we are going to discuss about the chrysophytes, which is also known as the golden algae. These golden algae are having basically diatoms. Firstly we have to understand what are exactly diatoms are. So diatoms are microscopic, that means they are very small in structure. They are aquatic, they are found in fresh water as well as marine water also. In case of photosynthetic, they are photosynthetic because they consist of chlorophyll, and cell wall is made up of silica. And this is very important point in case of diatoms. Why we are saying silica is indestructible? Because we know that, अब मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल आपको देना पसंद करूँगी. आप लोगों में से बहुत सारे लोगों ने ये देखा होगा कि जो सैंड है, जिसे बालू भी कहते हैं, वो बेसिकली नदियों में से निकाली जाती है. इफ़ यू कैन नो दिस थिंग. तो जब वो निकाली जा रही है, पर वो उनका सोर्स कैसे है, वो कैसे आ रही हैं, तो बहुत सारे बच्चे बोलेंगे कि मैम वो बह करके आ रही होगी बहुत सारी, लेकिन बह करके कितने अमाउंट में सैंड वहाँ पे इकट्ठा होगी अगर वो डिगिंग हर साल कर रहे हैं. तो इसलिए बिकॉज दीज डायटम्स आर एक्चुअली रिमूविंग देयर शेल्स, जो इनके बाहर के शेल्स है विच इज़ मेड अप ऑफ सिलिका, दे आर कंटिन्यूसली रिमूविंग दैट, वो बार बार उसको रिमूव करते रहते हैं. दैट सिलिका हैज़ बीन डिपॉजिटेड ऑन द shore of river or sea, and that is why we can say that diatoms are the this earth is actually because of the diatoms, and it is also known as the diatomaceous earth. and चूँकि ये फोटोसिंथेटिक भी हैं तो दे आर ऑल्सो नोन एज दे आर द चीफ प्रोड्यूसर ऑन द अर्थ. दैट मीन्स कि जितना ज़्यादा आपको फूड देखने को मिल रहा है या जितनी फूड चेन्स चलती हैं, अगर हम एक्वेटिक फूड चेन्स के बारे में बात करेंगे तो मोस्टली आपकी एक्वेटिक फूड चेन विल स्टार्ट विद द डायटम्स. दे आर ऑल्सो नोन एज फाइटोप्लैंक्टॉन्स. Okay, so this is all about the diatom. If you talk about the structure, they are of two type. The first one is your pinnate type and the second one is your centric. If you talk about the pinnate type, you can see the structure bilateral symmetry it is shown. That means there will be two structures which are going to fit like box only. जैसा एक soap box होता है उस तरीके से वो एक दूसरे के अंदर में fix हो जाएंगे. In case of centric, they are radial symmetry, but they are having a कॉन्केव स्ट्रक्चर. दोनों ही आपका कॉन्केव फॉर्म में कॉन्वेक्स फॉर्म में प्रेजेंट है जो कि एक दूसरे में एडजस्ट हो रहा है. तो एक बायलैटरल फॉर्म में प्रेजेंट है विच इज नोन एज द पिन्नेट, और एक आपका सेंट्रिक फॉर्म में प्रेजेंट है विच इज ऑल्सो नोन एज द रेडियल सिमेट्री. Actually, we can say about the diatoms, they constitute a major part of phytoplanktons of the ocean, and it is estimated that near about 60 ton blue whale may have approximately 2 tons of phytoplanktons in its guts. मतलब इतना ज़्यादा अबंडेंट में ये सी में पाया जाता है कि अगर हम लोग एक वेल ले उसके 60 टन को अगर हम अप्रॉक्सीमेटली मेजर करें तो उसकी बॉडी में लगभग 2 टन आपको डायटम्स ही वहाँ पे देखने को मिलेंगे. दूसरी चीज़, इट इज़ इंडिसेक्टेबल, जिसकी वजह से इसके कुछ यूजेस भी हैं, जिसकी वजह से ये बहुत ज़्यादा यूज़ किया जाता है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फॉर्मिंग इंसुलेटर ब्रिक्स, फिल्टरेशन ऑफ ऑयल के लिए और फाइन एब्रेसिव के लिए. अच्छा, कितने लोगों ने सैंड पेपर देखा हुआ है? इफ़ यू नो द सैंड पेपर इज़ ए काइंड ऑफ रफ पेपर विच इज़ यूजफुल फॉर रिमूविंग what we can say the rusting from the iron surfaces, and because of that it get smooth. एंड मे बी अगर आप लोगों ने देखा हो कोई भी मार्बल वगैरह की फिनिशिंग के लिए भी वो जो पत्थर आता है दैट इज़ ऑल्सो थोड़ा सा रफ सा होता है, उससे भी घिसाई की जाती है. तो वहाँ पे भी आपको डायटम्स की लेयर यानी सिलिका की लेयर वहाँ पे देखने को मिलेगी. जितना वो पत्थर की घिसाई की जाती है उतना ही ज़्यादा वो स्मूथ होता चला जाता है. आप कह सकते हो कि उतना चिकना होता चला जा रहा है. सो बेसिकली इसको यूज़ किया जाता है पॉलिशिंग के लिए. तो जो भी सर्फेसेस रफ है उनको पॉलिश करने के लिए हम लोग इनको यूज़ कर सकते हैं. इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट द कॉमन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स अबाउट दीज golden algae or diatoms, they are not having any flagella. As you can see the structure bilateral and radial, both the structures not having flagella. That is why they are aquatic. रिजर्व फूड के फॉर्म में ये बेसिकली पॉलीसेक्रोइड्स को अपने पास में रखते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि ये फोटोसिंथेटिक है तो जाहिर से बात है ये रिजर्व फूड बनाएंगे. फ्लोट्स ऑन वाटर सरफेस, बेसिकली ये पानी की सतह पर फ्लोट करते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑयल ड्रॉपलेट्स दे रिलीज. ये थोड़ा बहुत ऑयल ड्रॉपलेट रिलीज करते हैं जिसकी वजह से ये बड़े आसानी से वाटर में प्रोटेक्टेड रहते हैं और फ्लोट कर पाते हैं. दे आर डिप्लॉयड ऑर्गेनिज्म, दे आर डिप्लॉयड. वाई? बिकॉज बेसिकली आप पढ़ोगे कि आज जितने भी एल्गीज होते हैं, एल्गी के बॉडी में दो तरह की स्टेजेस होती है. द वन इज योर गैमेटोफिटिक एंड द अनदर वन इज योर स्पोरोफिटिक फेज. गैमेटोफिटिक वो जो गैमेट्स का फॉर्मेशन करेगी, और स्पोरोफिटिक वो जो कि स्पोर से जुवेनाइल फेज तक के लिए ग्रो करती है. तो दे आर डोमिनेंटली दे विल लिव इन डिप्लॉयड स्टेज विच इज योर गैमेटोफिटिक फेज. That means they are going to release the gametes and they are performing reproduction by both the mean, even with the help of vegetative and with the help of sexual reproduction. If you talk about the vegetative reproduction, they will perform by simple fission process or mitotically they will divide itself. Or if you talk about the sexual reproduction, so there is two process which we can discuss in later part. So hope this introduction about the diatoms you have understood very well. Now in next we will discuss about the reproduction in chrysophytes. Okay, in this part we are going to continue with the chrysophytes, and basically we are going to discuss about the vegetative reproduction mode. If we talk about this is a asexual mode of reproduction in which diatoms are going to divide mitotically. That means there is no specific process actually they are dividing their unicellular body mitotically, and the timing is always night only. So you have to remember this thing. There is no specific as such process like binary fission, spore formation, fragmentation. They are not taking place in case of diatoms. They are generally dividing by the cell division process, which is mitotic division. And as we know about the mitotic division, this is a process of cell division in which every daughter cell is having equivalent characters as their parents are having. And if we continue with this process, so I have written as a VP is for vegetative reproduction process. Okay, so during this particular process of reproduction, as we know, this is the structure of diatom which I have made. So you firstly you have to understand this diagram. Okay, so you can see this diagram. In this, the red structure is known as the epitheca and the green structure is known as the hypotheca. And inside this structure, because as we know they are the cell wall actually, and inside this cell wall we have cytoplasm along with the nucleus, and this cytoplasm along with the nucleus is also known as the protoplasm. So when these diatoms are undergoing the process of vegetative reproduction, by that time they are going to enlarge in its प्रोटोप्लाज्म एक्सेप्ट द सेल वॉल, क्योंकि सेल वॉल अगर वो इनलार्ज करना स्टार्ट करेंगी देन इट विल गेट बस्ट. तो हमें बस्ट नहीं करना है, सिर्फ हमें अपने प्रोटोप्लाज्म को थोड़ा इनलार्ज करना है, वो स्वेल अप होना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. उससे होगा ये कि जो साइटोप्लाज्मिक कंटेंट है एक्चुअली जो अंदर का सेल है उसमें माइटोसिस स्टार्ट हो चुकी है. तो जो साइटोप्लाज्मिक कंटेंट इनके पास प्रेजेंट है, वेदर इट इज सेल ऑर्गेनेल और एनीथिंग एल्स, दे स्टार्ट डिवाइडिंग इटसेल्फ. उन्होंने अपने आप को डिवाइड करना स्टार्ट कर दिया है, इंक्रीज कर रहे हैं वो अपने कंटेंट को. इवन रेप्लिकेशन हैज़ बीन ऑल्सो स्टार्टेड, जिसकी वजह से न्यूक्लियस भी कॉपी होना स्टार्ट हो चुका है. तो बाय द साइटोकाइनेसिस एंड कैरियोकाइनेसिस प्रोटोप्लाज्म, अब हम लोग वापस चले जाते हैं. So by the cytokinesis and karyokinesis, as you can see here, protoplasm divides into two parts. And now, but so you can see in the second diagram, now the cell gets swell up, थोड़ी वो swell up हो चुकी है, but still epitheca and hypotheca are still attached. But चूँकि cytokinesis और karyokinesis हो चुका है, तो you can see easily there will be two structures including that nucleus. Now these structures are going to be under the process of division itself. तो जब वो divide करते हैं, then the one part is having a epitheca part and the another part is having the hypotheca part. So you can see the smaller diagram. The smaller one which is having epitheca, the red one is representing epitheca and the green one is representing hypotheca. So in this structure we can say now these cells are ready to divide itself. So if we talk about these epitheca, they will only divide. एपिथीका के केस में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी, क्योंकि जो एपिथीका है वो अपने आप को डिवाइड करेगी एंड दिस विल गिव राइज अ न्यू हाइपोथीका. एज यू कैन सी द रेड वन इज सेम, but it will generate a new hypotheca around itself, and now in this way the new diatom has been formed. But in case of hypotheca which is the smaller component of this particular structure, so this is little complicated, because in this case, in the second structure, you can see in this structure, as you can see, the hypotheca behaves like a epitheca, and now this the change epitheca will give rise to a new hypotheca, and in this form they are going to form a new diatom. But doing this all the activity, you can see the size of the cell is going to be changed. क्यों? क्योंकि हाइपोथीका ऑलरेडी साइज में स्मॉलर है इन कंपैरिजन टू एपिथीका, और नाउ द हाइपोथीका इज कंसिडरिंग इटसेल्फ एज ए एपिथीका, जिसकी वजह से जो साइज़ है उसका बहुत वेरिएशन देखने को मिलेगा, एंड धीरे धीरे ये एक लिमिटेशन के तौर पे आपको देखने को मिलेगा. तो इससे क्या होगा, धीरे धीरे डायटम का जो साइज है वो डिक्रीज होता चला जाएगा. सो यू कैन सी हेयर आई हैव राइट डाउन द फ्यू स्टेप्स ऑल्सो. ड्यूरिंग द वेजिटेटिव propagation, except cell wall gets swells. By the cytokinesis and kerokinesis, protoplasm divide into two parts, epitheca and hypotheca has still attached. By mitotically they will divide itself, but if you compare both the cell, they are not same size, they are parent cell because of the hypothetical वेरिएशन. तो वो हम लोगों ने डिस्कस कर लिया. तो लिमिटेशन क्या क्या है, अगर हम लोग वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन कराएं तो हमें लिमिटेशंस क्या क्या मिलेगी. तो ड्यूरिंग द वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन वी कैन सी कि मिक्सिंग ऑफ जेनेटिक मटेरियल नहीं हुआ, जिसकी वजह से कोई वेरिएशन देखने को नहीं मिलेगा हमें. फिर दूसरी चीज़ है कि जो सेल साइज है वो धीरे धीरे, अब सोचो यही वाली हाइपोथिकल वाली सेल्स है वो अपना फिर से डिवाइड करना स्टार्ट करेगी, एंड लेटर ऑन जो साइज है वो सेल का वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा स्मॉल होता चला जाएगा. तो इस वजह से वेजिटेटिव प्रोपगेशन इज़ नॉट वेरी सक्सेसफुल. लेकिन क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि इसको करेक्शन कैसे किया जाए. तो इट कैन बी ओनली डन बाय द हेल्प ऑफ सेक्शुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. अब वो कैसे होगा, नाउ वी विल स्टडी सेक्शुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. So if we talk about the sexual reproduction, it is of two type as we have discussed earlier. It is of pinnate and centric type. In case of pinnate type of diatoms, they are going to perform the conjugation process, and the centric, they are going to perform the gamete formation. Firstly, we are going to discuss about the conjugation part. As you can see here, this conjugation. So if we talk about the conjugation, actually firstly we have to understand what does it mean. Conjugation का मतलब क्या होता है. Conjugation is the process in which usually fusion take place by any connecting tube. किसी भी कनेक्टिंग ट्यूब के थ्रू अगर आपका एक्सचेंज ऑफ जेनेटिक मटेरियल हो रहा है, दैट इट इज नोन एज द कॉन्जुगेशन. एंड इन दिस प्रोसेस ऑल्सो दैट कॉन्जुगेशन इज गोइंग टू बी टेक प्लेस. यू कैन सी द लाइन, टू डिप्लॉयड डायटम्स कम क्लोजर एंड गेट फ्यूज एंड फॉर्म अ म्यूसिलेजिनस शीट. ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेप है. तो यू कैन सी जस्ट नेक्स्ट टू pinnate you can see the two diatoms structure and they are getting closure and a red color of mucilaginous sheet is covering itself. वो उसको कवर कर ले रही है ताकि उनको एक एटमॉस्फेयर मिल सके और वो अपना प्रोसेस को कंटिन्यू कर सके. Now these cells will undergo the meiosis process. Meiosis is a reductional division जो कि दोनों सेल्स में होगा. दोनों डायटम्स आपका meiosis परफॉर्म करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि जो डायटम है ये एक डिप्लॉयड स्ट्रक्चर है. तो जब ये रिडक्शनल डिवीजन करना स्टार्ट करेंगे, एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ meiosis देयर विल बी फॉर्मेशन ऑफ 4 haploid cells. You can see I have made in 4 haploid structure, 4 cells. You can see 4 from one cell, 4 from another cell. So I have represented with the different color. So 4 black cells you can see and 4 red cells you can see. Now after the some time, these 2 cells from each type, that means from the black one type and from the red one type, they are going to be degenerated. वो थोड़े समय के बाद में धीरे धीरे डीजेनरेट कर जाएंगी. अब डीजेनरेट कई बार में ऐसा भी होता है कि कई बार 3 भी जनरेट कर जाती हैं, पर जैसा भी हो फिलहाल सेल्स आर गोइंग टू बी डीजेनरेटेड, ये हमें रिमेंबर रखना है. तो कुछ बुक्स में शायद आपको 3 सेल्स भी देखने को मिल सकता है, तो उसके लिए देख के कंफ्यूज मत होइएगा, बिकॉज द प्रोसेस विल रिमेन सेम. अगर 2 सेल डीजेनरेट करेंगी तो भी प्रोसेस वैसे ही रहने वाला है. अगर 1 सेल डीजेनरेट करेगी तो भी प्रोसेस वही रहेगा. अगर 3 सेल करेगी तो भी. सो फिलहाल जो सेल्स है वो अपना डीजेनरेट कर रही हैं. डीजेनरेशन का भी प्रोसेस आपको नेक्स्ट डायग्राम में देखने को मिलेगा. नाउ दीज लेफ्ट आउट 2 ब्लैक एंड 2 रेड सेल्स, they are getting more space for performing the conjugation and now the recombination will also take. अब पहले क्वेश्चन ये आता है कि मैम recombination क्या चीज़ हो सकती है. Recombination is also known as the genetic recombination. That means when 2 living organisms with the different strains are going to exchange their genetic material. जब 2 different cells एक दूसरे के साथ अपने जेनेटिक इन्फॉर्मेशन को शेयर करते हैं फ्यूजन के प्रोसेस के थ्रू, देन इट इज नोन एज द जेनेटिक रिकॉम्बिनेशन. एज यू कैन सी द नेक्स्ट डायग्राम, द ब्लैक सेल हैज़ बीन फॉर्म्ड अ कॉन्जुगेटिंग ट्यूब, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट दे आर डूइंग द फ्यूजन प्रोसेस. और जैसे ही वो फ्यूजन करेंगे तो देयर विल बी अ 2 सेल्स ब्लैक एंड रेड, दे विल गेट अलॉन्ग विद देम एंड दे विल फ्यूज and they will form 2 cells over there, क्योंकि 4 cells आपस में फ्यूज करके 2 cells बना रही है. So there will be formation of oxospores. There will be formation of ऑक्सोस्पोर्स एंड दीज ऑक्सोस्पोर्स आर डिप्लॉयड इन नेचर। अब ये डिप्लॉयड कैसे हुई, फिर से एक बार हम लोग रिकॉल कर लेते हैं, क्योंकि हमने कहा कि जब डायटम्स फ्यूज करते हैं, म्यूसिलेजिनस शीट के अंदर जाते हैं, तब वो डायटम्स आपके डिप्लॉयड थे, लेकिन दे आर परफॉर्मिंग मियोसिस प्रोसेस एंड मियोसिस की वजह से वो 4 हैप्लॉइड सेल्स बनाते हैं। तो यह जितने भी सेल्स आपको देखने को मिल रही हैं रेड और ब्लैक कलर की, दे ऑल आर basically haploid in nature, and when 2 haploid cells are going to fuse with each other and they are going to form the diploid structure. So the blue structure which is formed inside the mucilaginous cell, which is oxospore, it is diploid in nature, and this oxospore after some time it will come out from the mucilaginous sheet, and each oxospore secretes its own epitheca and hypotheca, and both will be of same size as their parent diatom. So you can understand, by doing the conjugation process in sexual reproduction, the diatoms are getting their actual size. So sexual reproduction is better in comparison to the vegetative propagation. Now coming on the another type, which is your centric gamete formation. सेंट्रिक वाले में हम लोग गैमेट फॉर्मेशन के बारे में बात करेंगे. सेंट्रिक आपने देखा था, दे आर रेडियल सिमेट्री, तो उनकी जो बॉडी होगी वो थोड़ी कर्वी सी होगी, लेकिन यहाँ जो डायटम्स होंगे दे आर प्लेइंग अ रोल ऑफ मेल एंड फीमेल. तो वो बेसिकली एक अपने आप को मेल कंसीडर करेगा, एक अपने आप को फीमेल कंसीडर करेगा. तो अगर वो अपने आप को मेल एंड फीमेल कंसीडर कर रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब है कि वो मियोसिस के थ्रू गैमेट फॉर्मेशन में भी पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे. तो व्हेन दे विल participate, as you can see this thing, the 2 diploid diatoms both play as a male and female. By the meiosis they are going to produce egg and spermatozoa. Spermatozoa is the male reproductive gamete and egg is the female reproductive gamete, and both are haploid in nature. And by the process of fusion, because there will be formation of gametes and that gametes are going to fuse with each other, so they are going to be fused with each other, and then there is also formation of oxospores, and which is diploid in nature, and this oxospore will also secrete its epitheca and hypotheca. So by studying these both processes, you can understand this thing कि how the sexual reproduction is doing correction in the drawbacks or limitation which will done in vegetative propagation. अच्छा, एक चीज़ और है जो कि मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगी. The first is oogamous. At the right corner you can see the oogamous, which is a male gamete fuses with the female gamete and it moves towards the female gamete. So it is a oogamous type of gamete formation or fusion process which is taking place in case of centric type of sexual reproduction basically. I think you all have understood this whole process. This is your vegetative propagation which is done with the help of mitotic division. I think this is clear. And then we have a sexual reproduction which we are performing by pinnate and centric, and this pinnate and centric is also very clear, I think. Thank you for watching.